cap is the most impressive wall on Earth.
It's 3,200 feet of sheer granite. It's the center of the rock climbing universe.
Obviously, I get interview questions about it all the time. Oh, would you like to do that? And you're like, yes, for sure.
So you have a girlfriend now, I heard.
It's awesome. Pretty much makes life better in every way.
It's really hard for me to grasp why he wants this. But if he doesn't do this stuff, he'd regret it.
Everybody who has made free soloing a big part of their life is dead now.
I haven't been injured in like 7 years. I suddenly start getting injured all the time.
What if something happens? What if I don't see him again?
I could just walk away, but it's like, I don't want to.
I've always been conflicted about shooting a film about free soloing just because it's so dangerous. It's hard to not imagine your friend falling through the frame to his death.
I think when he's free soloing, that's when he feels the most alive, most everything. How can you even...
Aloha! This is Trinidad, the Island Man, your Island Man, coming to you live once again from beautiful Hawaii here on the island of Oahu, bringing you, yes you, the best movie reviews on the entire island of Oahu. And, well, as you know, we're still locked down, can't go outside, but, you know, that gives a wonderful opportunity to go back and watch movies that you may have missed, that I had missed, well, in the theater. And today is no exception. Last night, I went ahead and I saw a wonderful movie that originally I had wanted to see when it opened up in theaters back in 2018. I think just before the summer of 2018, around April-May time frame is when it hit the theaters. And that is the documentary by National Geographic called Free Solo. Now, like I said, this had only hit like Hawaii for like a week, you know, especially near me by my nearby theater. It had only been there for like a week. I'd gone, seen some other movies, wanted to see it the week after, and boom, it was gone. You know, because, you know, my local theater really doesn't show too many documentaries. However, this one did show that movie, and it looked really great from all the previews and from what you've seen from the trailer. It is obviously very, you know, really grabs you. So let me just say that because I missed it, I kept looking for it on Netflix. Sure, you could have rented it, but of course I didn't want to do that. You can still rent it on many platforms now. However, if you have Hulu or if you have Disney Plus, then you can go ahead and see that movie for free with your paid subscription. It is finally there to be watched. And I went ahead and I watched it last night. And without further ado, remember our rating scale. Shaka thumbs up, it's good to see, I recommend it. Shaka thumbs down, it's bad to see, it's junk, I don't recommend it. And for the National Geographic documentary movie, it is a Shaka thumbs up. Let me just say that you saw the trailer right before this review that I put in as I normally do. And basically, it stars Alec Holland, which is a you know, the premier climber throughout the world right now, still to this date. And basically one of the greatest, if not the greatest, that has ever lived, free soloist. Thus the name of the documentary, Free Solo. Now this is not a Star Wars movie that, you know, about Han Solo that came out around the same time. But this is about the sport, the extreme adventure sport, I guess, of mountain climbing without ropes, without other gear, without any safety harnesses to speak of. Now, many people mountain climb, many people use that gear, still climb up mountains and still fall to their deaths. But, you know, very much like you had seen Tom Cruise do in Mission Impossible 2 in Mission Impossible, 3, where he's climbing that skyscraper by hand, in the desert of Dubai. This is what this man, Alex, does, not just for a living, because it is his passion. He is driven to do this. It's like every year he keeps thinking about how he can challenge himself by doing this. And this documentary goes through a little bit of his childhood, his family life, showing that he was always a driven and exceptional individual. Maybe not the best with social skills, like some great corporate leaders, like many great political politicians. Maybe something that set him aside, that he was very much an individualist, driving for perfection in, whatever pursuit he deemed to do. And for him, that was mountain climbing or free, and eventually free soloing, as he had, learned the skills with ropes and everything first, and then decided to, as many others who took up the sport, started to do just by hand without use of any safety equipment. And the challenge that throughout the world, wherever he's climbed, there was always one daunting mountain peak, one thing, very much like, Brad Pitt in Free Tibet, that he had wanted to do, or what was that, 10 days in Tibet or something like that. I forget what it was. But, very much like his mountain climbing character, Alex Holland wanted to climb El Capitan in Yosemite National Park. Again, without any safety equipment, without any ropes, without any climbing gear, just him and the mountain itself. And let me tell you, it does go through a little bit of his life, his growing up, his current relationship with a girlfriend that just last year, well, actually just this January, December he proposed, and in January he got married to his fiancée, his girlfriend that we see in the film, that they describe their meeting and such, and that he hadn't really, because he is so driven that he puts his climbing ahead of even his girlfriend's, that he really hadn't had a long-term relationship until who we see in this film that becomes his fiancée and then finally his wife, but who is extremely supportive. And we don't know if maybe he had been able to really do this without her support and her exceptional supportiveness, as most spouses do help their significant other strive and continue to reach that greatest peak, as Alex certainly does in this movie. And not only this movie, but this documentary in real life. He scales by hand, no equipment, no safety equipment to speak of, El Capitan in Yosemite National Park by hand. That's 3,200 feet of sheer granite cliff face in the Yosemite National Park. A challenge for anyone, even with the best climbing gear and even with years of experience. An amazing, a remarkable feat. And then also this documentary also goes and talks about the film crew that had to film him, many of which are great expert climbers in themselves, to be able to get into these positions with safety gear, with safety harnesses. However, nothing could really prepare them for the making of such a documentary, where a man could fall to his death at any moment, and they could capture that, his last seconds alive, on film. And, they had to come to the grips of this. Alex himself had to come to the grips of this, of, what if they distract me? That this is the first time he's climbing with people watching, with people filming. Usually he'd just go out in seclusion and start climbing on his own, all these various mountains. but this time he wanted to document it. And throughout, there are many YouTube videos about him now, especially, with his fame for attempting this feat, about, how he lives. And I guess even in the documentary, he makes a decent living from advertising and going through public speaking, motivational speeches, as anyone who does, from a great sports team, etc., a great athlete often does to motivate people and give them that positive boost. And even now his wife, his former girlfriend, fiance, has kind of started up a business around that. In itself. So, he does make income off of his climbing for mountain, but it was not his purpose. I'm going to go climb mountains to make millions of dollars. No, certainly not risking his life every single day. And so, yes, this documentary, Free Solo, is a strong shock, a thumbs up. Like I said, I had wanted to see this originally when it came out in 2018. But only now just did because of mainly the break and not having anything else to watch. If you have Disney Plus, if you have Hulu, I definitely suggest you to check this out. If you're bored, and especially if you're a sports lover where you want to see people overcome great challenges in their sport, you can't get any better than a single man, mano-a-mano, bare hands against a solid granite cliff that is 3,200 feet of vertical rock surface. This is a must-see, especially if you're really jonesing for sports. Go and check it out, even if you got to rent it. There's various places. Vudu, YouTube has it for like $4. Amazon, if you wanted to rent it there, for $9. Google Play, I think, again, $4. But especially if you have Disney Plus or Hulu, you can check it out with your subscription for free. All right, thank you so much. This is Trinidad, the Island Man, your Island Man, giving Free Solo a shock, a thumbs up. This is a very inspirational, exciting, and dramatic story that, in these times when you can't go to a movie theater and see anything new, it still stands out, and it's beautifully shot by the camera work of this film crew for National Geographic, those who bring you great documentaries anyways. All right, thank you so much, and this is Trinidad, the Island Man, your Island Man, here in quarantined Hawaii, saying mahalo, aloha, and stay safe. Thank you.